first ball. So it's none for none at the beginning of the first over. We've got two slips, gully, a deep extra cover, a mid-on, a straight hit, comes into bowl, it's outside off and it's wide. Then we've got a mid-on, a mid-wicket and a fine leg. Trying again to bowl the third over of the match. Short of a length again, and it get a bit of extra bounce, and he left it alone. So 3 dot balls from the 3 legal deliveries. The bowler is really trying to pound it in at short of a length, trying to get some lift, and the first 2 pretty much petted out, and then there was the wide, but that one really did bounce up, and the batsman comes into bowl again, and it's much. Wonderful shot there. He bowled it much fuller this time, and it was just lent into it. Lovely cover drive for a 2. Bowls it again. It's much shorter, and it's pulled, and it's just straight to the fielder at cover. Comes into again the bowl, short of a length again, and it's left alone. That one didn't bounce again, and the end of the over. So this is Butler bowling. Second over of the match. Let's have a look at this field. There's a slip fielder, a backward point, a deep cover point, a mid on, extra cover, and square leg. And that fielder is going out into mid-wicket, and then you've got fine leg. Comes into bowl, and it's short of a length, and it's left alone. Butler comes into bowl, it's short of a length, and it's blocked. Butler comes into bowl, and it's very short, and it's cut straight to the fielder at extra cover. Butler comes into bowl, and it's a very good ball, and it's left alone. He's getting quite a lot of turn, and it seems to be a bit of a extra bounce, though nothing really to worry about. Butler bowls short and missed, goes for the cut shot. This is not the largest ground, so there's not going to be any real preference to either the short or the full ball. Dirk balls, and it's blocked. End of the over. So it's the third over. And it is none for three.
I was actually having a chat with a couple of Diamond Creek players, including Vice Captain Mitchell Elsink. He says while they're not necessarily confident, anything can happen in round one.
Well said, well said. Definitely Diamond Creek are the underdogs in this contest. Comes into bowl, and it's full, and it's a leading edge going down into the backward point area, and it's going to be picked up, and they'll come back for a second.
Yeah, played a bit too early then, Brad Gedge. Probably before there was a bit more pace on the ball, and that's what Sexton can do. He can actually take the pace off the ball. He's deceptively slow without being too disrespectful to the man's ability.
He's a very interesting bowler because he's got a very good shoulder. Like, he really pounds the ball in. Holds it, and it's full, and it's blocked, and it's picked up by the fielder at mid-on. Yes, he really likes to pound the ball in, short of a length, and occasionally he'll get some extra bounce, but otherwise it might actually skid on because he's not the tallest, so...
Definitely a workhorse of a bowl. Wouldn't be surprised if he actually bowls all 8 of his allotted overs in a row.
Holds it, and it's another full ball, and it's and it's gone! We've seen the first wicket. Can you pass me the digital camera?
That's a big wicket there for Diamond Creek there, with Brad Gedge playing a lot too early again there, missing the ball. And we'll have a look at the actual replay of that to see if it actually would be hitting the stumps. But in my eyes, it was hitting the top of middle and off, so certainly a wicket there for Diamond Creek, making it 1 for 5.
Yes, I wasn't sure about that. It seemed to go, it ducked in, so it was outside the off stump on the line, and then it came in, and the question was, first of all, did it hit the inside edge, and then did it hit inside the line? And also, it was a bit high, so there were 3, question marks, and the umpire decided, no, that was out.
Still a lot of cricket here in Marngrook, and there doesn't seem to be necessarily a huge amount of bounce, so I wouldn't be surprised if our action replays do determine that was hitting the stumps. But big wicket regardless, I do need early wickets there. There's the first one.
It was a very handsome delivery nonetheless. Comes into bowl, and it's another full ball, and it's driven into the covers, and they'll go for runs, and gets fielded.
So the man playing that stroke was Nathan Bragg, our player in focus earlier today. As mentioned earlier in the coverage, over 3,000 runs for Riverside, one of their greats, even at just the age of 26. Coming in at number 3, and probably the most important batsman, so it'll be important to make sure they get their tactics right there.
And there's just the one slip fielder. They've decided to take the second slip and into a short cover. Is it? Yeah, short.
They've got Williams in a short, maybe an extra cover, short extra cover.
Comes into bowl, and it's another full ball, and it's left alone. And that's the end of the over. So the score is 1 for 5 in the third over. Dirk is coming in for his second over. It looks to be the same field that he had from the first over.
One thing that stood out for me for Dirk, he's definitely slowed down. When he was bowling at least a couple of years ago, he was bowling much too quick for an off spin, and he's definitely slowed down a bit.
Oh, what a shot there. And where'd the ball go there? Wow, hit very hard, straight back at the bowler, and it hit the stumps, and it ricocheted off into the mid-off area, and they were able to scamper for 1. And so now the number 3 batsman comes on to face his first taste, get his first taste of Dirk.
Well, with Bragg being an opener in his junior days, it might be interesting how he goes with speed early on in his innings, but he's a much more accomplished batsman since those early days.
Same field. It's fairly orthodox, nothing remarkable about it. Just taking his time to get on top of everything. All right, Dirk comes into bowl, And it's full, and it's played and missed, and it misses everything. And well fielded there, but a couple of byes. So that was unusual because I didn't see anything remarkable about that delivery. It was just the poor batsman swung and missed, and that was just a distraction that meant everyone forgot about it.
Merritt still needs to work in progress with his keeping, so a long way to go.
And it's outside the off stump and left alone.
So that was much better. He actually came up with the ball and actually read it well with the flight there. One of the biggest challenges for wicket keepers, with my experience of keeping, is actually coming up with the ball even when the batsman's playing a shot.
And he bowls it again. It's another full ball, and it is played out to backward point. Butler comes into bowl, and it is another full ball, and it's blocked and again fielded in the backward point region.
One of the benefits of having the orthodox field, especially early on, is you can build that pressure, which we saw get in work early, so they accumulate the top balls even if there were a couple of byes. Butler comes into bowl, and it's short of a length, and it's pushed off the back foot straight to the fielder at short extra cover. It's the end of the over. It is 1 for 7 in the 5th over. We've got the 3rd over of Sexton coming up, right arm medium fast, and they've put the second slip back into position. And he bowls a full toss, and it is played away through the mid-wicket region, and they're going to have to chase it down, and it is. Well chased there by Jackson Ellsink. He's actually come a long way from his earlier junior days, where he was playing a lot of that F and G grade cricket and actually weighing up his basketball commitments. Today we see him in the second 11, which is actually where he should be. He's a fantastic bowler, and we'll see him later on this afternoon.
I look forward to seeing what he's got to show us. Sexton comes into bowl, and it is short of a length, and it's left alone, and again the ball skids down, and there's no bounce, and the wicketkeeper has to pick it up at his ankles.
And that'll be the challenge for Merritt. The Marngrook pitch, as mentioned earlier, doesn't have necessarily a lot of bounce, so for the carry you're used to having, for example, at Coventry, you may not get here at Marngrook.
Sexton into bowl, and it is a full ball, and it is driven off the inside edge, fielded by square leg.
And that's our player in progress from Diamond Creek, Mitchell McDonald, an underrated fielder. You often find him in the covers and gully region, but today at square leg.
Sexton into bowl, and it is a full toss again, and it is driven away, and square and fine leg will have to field it.
Bit full at the moment, Sexton. We know that he's very good off his pads, so it's really important for him to make sure he hits his length there.
Without knowing who's batting, I can't tell who's on. Sexton into bowl, and it is left alone, and that ball got a bit more bounce.
That's the length he should be looking for there, that just short of a length area, whereby if it does keep a little bit low, it is threatening the stumps, but if it carries true, at least it's making the batsman play. It's
going to make it very difficult to set a good field, because are slips the right attacking positions for this type of pitch? Let's find out. Sexton comes into bowl, and it is blocked. A nice ball, full length, and that's the end of the over. It is 1 for 11 coming into the 6th over. Butler is coming into bowl his 3rd. And it's a full ball, and it's blocked, and it's pushed out into the fielder at short extra cover.
I actually want to tap into your experience, Chukka Wilson, with your mini games in the shorter format. When you get into a situation where you almost face a core of the overs as opening batsman, when do you start looking to up the ante?
Good question. Butler comes into bowl, and it is short of a length, and it's left alone. Well, it all depends on really the type of match situation, because one of the things that I enjoy doing is that captains are often very defensive, and so if you terrify them a bit, as Butler comes into bowl, and it's a full ball and it's blocked. Captains tend to be very conservative, so if you can scare them a bit, they will back off and they will set more defensive fields, which make singles much more easy. So I like to play more aggressive shots, especially in the first 5 overs, as Butler comes into bowl, and it is driven away, and that is 4.
And that's what Bragg has, that natural power there that he's got. Very tall batsman. And of course very strong as well, having played football in the off-season. So it's not surprising he's going to take on Bedurk, and I wouldn't be surprised to put in either a deep mid-wicket or even a cow corner at some point.
That looked like natural strength to me. He didn't have a big backswing, and it didn't look like he was putting too much into his shoulders. It was just the forearms, really just shoving the ball away.
He's always been strong on the front foot, so I wouldn't be surprised if Bedurk just drops a little bit shorter.
Bedurk comes into bowl, and it's a full again. Yes, and the other thing to consider, of course, is this is 40 overs, not 50 overs, which means you have to make sure that you don't concede as many runs, because chasing is much more difficult in a 40 over clash. As Bedurk comes into bowl. And that's the end of the over. Fortunately, Sexton comes into bowl, and it's full, and it's driven, and it's straight into the stumps again.
Second time that's happened, so they have certainly got their eye and playing very straight within that V there. Captain Williams didn't make a field change, and you talked the other over about whether you do have slips. You've really got to weigh up attack and defence here, so if you're not going to have your slips, you probably would need to have a third man in place there for that one to go through. You don't want to concede boundaries in that behind the keeper area.
Yeah. Generally, your attitude in these lower grades of cricket is that if you're going to play a terrific shot through a drive, you just concede it. Like, if you're going to play a great shot, like, good luck to you, mate. And Sexton comes into bowl, and it's short of a length, and it's left alone, no bounce. Yes, so definitely the two difficult ones are going to be the ones where the ball rises a little higher than expected, which might catch the glove, and then the one that drops down lower, in which case you have to have someone behind the slips and the wicketkeeper, otherwise you're going to concede far too many runs. Sexton comes into bowl, and it is short, and it's cut, and it is going through the covers, and the fielder picks it up.
One of the things that can happen here at Marngroup is you can sometimes have a little lack of reward for your shots there. We've seen some fantastic batting here. However, they've only been accumulating those twos at most there, with just the one boundary for a really muscly shot.
Sexton comes into bowl, and it is full, and it is driven back to the wicket, back to the bowler. I was contemplating about just how good the outfield will be, because this is of course round one, when the football season has just ended, so there's going to be a lot of grog underneath the surface as Sexton bowls, and it's a full toss, and it is driven through the mid-wicket region, and they'll just take the one. Yes, so the football season has just ended, so there's going to be a lot of uneven grog underneath the surface, and of course we've had rain over the last week, so the factors in play are going to tell us that this is going to be a slower than average outfield.
Well, your normal average score here, you can't win with less than 160, but today maybe you can get away with 140.
Sexton comes into bowl, and it is short, and it's wide, and it's left alone. And that's the end of the over. Bedurk comes into bowl, and it is a full ball, and it is driven through the mid-wicket region again, and it is heading down to the mid-wicket boundary, and the fielder is chasing it, and he's just collecting it now just in front of the boundary, and is that the third? Very well run there.
Certainly is. It takes the score to 1 for 21, and again another example of how good he is off the pads there. That's his full shot through that region. It's going to be up to Diamond Creek to actually think of a feel for that one. Do they sacrifice a feeler in the deeps, or do they change their length and line?
Bedurk comes into bowl, and it is another full ball, but it's driven into the short extra cover fielder. So the two places where the ball has been heading have been extra cover and mid-wicket. Nothing square of the wicket. Bedurk comes into bowl, and it is a darter ball, and it is blocked.
And that's where his change of pace should be. That used to be his stock ball, Bedurk, only a couple of years ago, but he certainly slowed up for his stock ball, but his quicker one should be his change up. It is very effective.
He's playing very well. I'm very impressed by what I've seen so far. Butler comes into bowl, and it is a flighted ball, and it's blocked again.
Well, Butler has been used in the Northern Region T20 for Diamond Creek there, so he's certainly in that bracket of pushing up to the senior side in the 2-day and 1-day format, but has been getting game in the T20.
Butler comes into bowl, and it is another very good ball. That one was a bit shorter, and it allowed to spin, and the batsman had to play it because it was at the line of just outside the off stump. Pretty much the same field that we've had since the beginning of the match. Butler comes into bowl, and it is a full ball, and it is blocked, and that's the end of the over.
We won the score, Callum.
So we're coming into the 9th over. It is 1 for 21. Callum Sexton is coming into his 5th over, so he has bowled 4 overs. He has 1 for 12.
Certainly showing a lot of promise here. He did get 1 for 70 in the semi-final there, so he's certainly come a long way since that particular afternoon. Had a big pre-season.
And it is short of a length and left alone. Sexton comes into bowl, and it is short, and it's cut, and it goes straight to the fielder at slightly backward point.
The fielder there is Dale Wells. He's one that's certainly become a leader of this second 11. Will be important with both bat and ball there, so we'll see him a bit later on in the thick of things.
Sexton comes into bowl, and it is a good length ball blocked. So there was a couple of overs just a short while ago where it seemed like the batsmen were starting to get on top of the situation. They were scoring too freely, but now we've had a really good over from Butler, and now we've had a very good start to this over from Sexton, so they haven't really scored a run in about 7 or 8 balls. As Sexton comes into bowl, and that was a beamer.
It was fantastically caught there at square leg by McDonald, but unfortunately it is off a non-controversial no ball there, so will they get another chance?
That was a gigantic beamer, and it was so fast I couldn't pick it up. So Sexton comes into bowl, and it is a good length ball outside the off stump, left alone.
For a reminder for those who don't know the bowling restrictions, bowlers can bowl a maximum of 8 overs during these 40 over clashes.
Which is a very good improvement. I remember back in the day when you could bowl an unlimited number. As Sexton comes into bowl, left alone, outside the off stump, which meant that, of course, if you had a top grade bowler, you could just get him to bowl 20 overs. He would take a 4 for 30, and you had to score the runs off just the other 20 overs in the side. As he comes into bowl, and it is blocked. A bit shorter, but it didn't bounce, and so he played it more or less off the back foot. It is an end of the over. So we are coming into the 10th over. It is 1 for 22, and that really does tell you where the match situation is, where they haven't been able to get away, these Riverside batsmen, and to try to get the scoreboard, get the run rate into the 3s. It's still in the 2s as Butler comes into bowl, and it is slapped, and it is a big shot, and it is a 6. What a shot there.
I believe that's covered even the bench that you see over there, the tin bench. Maybe even found its way onto the road. It's a big shot there from Bragg, and that's the power that he does have. He could be the difference between, say, a 140 and a 170 score, depending on how long he bats.
And a Diamond Creek fielder out in the deep finding it and throwing it back. Like, that was a massive hit, because really he didn't do anything. He just got underneath the ball and lifted it, and it went flying just much more than you would expect from a shot of that sort of caliber.
It is the advantage of those dual sports players in cricket.
Butler comes into bowl, and it is a full toss, and it is driven away and fielded by the fielder. Oh, it's a misfield, and they're going to come back for 2.
We'll be disappointed with that one, Mitch Elsink. He does rate his fielding, and one of the leaders in this side. We did speak to him earlier in an interview, talking about the game beforehand. He'll be one of the change bowls, so we'll see later on.
fielder hasn't changed, but most of the fielders have stepped back a couple of meters, so it's a bit more of a defensive field as Butler comes into bowl again, and it's more of a dart, and it's blocked. Yes, there's not really a way you can defend shots like that when batsmen just have so much natural strength and they just hit boundaries through sheer might. As Butler comes into bowl, and it is a short ball, and it is cut, and is a misfield again, and another misfield. 2 misfields in a row.
One of the dramas that you do have with opening the bowl with the off spin is you do lose your change of pace. Looking at the rest of Diamond Creek's side, the rest of it falls under that medium plus bracket. Do you take the risk and take Butler off while he's got some sort of rhythm, or do you want to bowl him out now?
That's a very interesting question there. Butler comes into bowl, and it's blocked. Because you always feel like the spinner in the middle of a one-day game is such an advantage, because exactly when the batsmen feel like they're on top of this situation, they're in control, it's time to go at it, they don't have any pace on the ball. As Butler comes into bowl, and it is full, and a bit of extra bounce there, catches the glove, and it goes down to fine leg for 1. That was just surprising.
That's the extra bounce that Butler can get.
End of the over.